You're about to see a short demonstration drive by one of our test vehicles. This is a Land Rover Discovery 2.5 TDI filled with 35 litres of filtered and dewatered waste vegetable oil. It has an electric fuel preheater installed, which we have set to operate on this test run at 40 centigrade. The 4 LED displays show the fuel temperature coming out of the fuel tank. The second one shows the temperature of the oil inside the heater unit. The third one shows the oil temperature entering the fuel injector pump, and the final one shows the oil temperature leaving the injector pump and heading back towards the tank. Depending on the ignition, it shows the temperatures again, and it shows they're all equal, meaning that the engine and the fuel are cold. Quickly the heater temperature begins to rise, and we start the engine. Almost instantly the oil in the heater is up above 40 centigrade and the oil entering the injector pump rises quickly into the mid-30s, about the temperature of a hot shower. The return temperature is already showing a slight rise. This demonstrates that most of the heat is being absorbed by the injector pump itself. The engine runs smoothly and evenly. For this demonstration drive, we will be setting off once the oil temperature entering the injector pump exceeds about 40 centigrade. At this temperature the viscosity is now much lower and the fuel will vaporise nicely through the injectors. As we accelerate, the fuel flow increases and the temperature initially will drop. The heater responds by increasing power to the heating element. The temperature then begins to rise again towards the set point of 40 centigrade. We're now travelling at about 40 miles an hour up a slight hill. The return temperature is rising, showing that the injector pump is now quite hot, even though the engine is still cold. It is only about 2 minutes into the test drive. The temperature of the oil inside the heater unit is rising towards its set point of 40 centigrade. At 40 centigrade, the unit reduces power to 2 out of the 3 heating elements. As we approach a junction and slow down, the fuel flow will decrease slightly and you'll notice the temperature of the oil both in the heater and entering the injector pump will rise. As we accelerate, initially the temperature will drop very slightly, but will then quickly recover and climb back up towards 40 centigrade. We're now approaching another junction. This will take us onto a dual carriageway where we can increase the speed quite considerably and try some harder acceleration. Again, the temperature is still around the 40, and we're now putting our foot down, and initially the temperature will drop, but very quickly that will start to rise again. We're heading up through 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, and coming up to 60 miles an hour up a slight hill. Looking at the fuel tank temperature, you'll notice that the hot oil from the return is now starting to heat up the tank, and as this happens, though the heater unit will require less and less power to heat the oil. We're shortly going to be pulling into a lay-by where we can show the unit operating under idle, and we'll also readjust the temperature at which the heater is operating. As we slow down, the oil temperature rises initially inside the heater. The high signal that you see is indicating that all of the heaters have cut off, and the unit is now just letting oil straight through it without putting any additional heat into it. As the oil cools down from this, you'll find the heaters will come back on, and it will hold it between about 38 centigrade and 40 centigrade. To adjust to the temperature, we press the set point, we reset the temperature. In this case we're going to take it up to 50 centigrade. We just dial in the temperature that we want, accept that by pressing the set button, and instantly the heaters will come back on, and you can see the temperature already starting to rise just a few seconds. The heater unit will now modulate around 50 centigrade. We're now ready to set off, all clear behind. As we leave the lay-by and accelerate, the oil temperature will drop initially. As we approach the roundabout, which is up ahead, that temperature will start to rise once again. Coming out of the roundabout, we have quite a hill in front of us, and we're going to put our foot down a little bit and see what happens under full acceleration. Again, you can see that the heater initially will drop, but then very quickly that will recover. The oil temperature entering the injector pump remains relatively constant, only altering a few degrees throughout the drive. And we're heading uphill again onto 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, and that's the legal limit for this, but it's quite a steep hill at this point. We're now approaching the roundabout at the top of the hill, and that will end this demonstration drive.